a sec. And welcome to Tea Time with Lorna. I had a great week this week. I managed to go into the city, had a great week hanging out with family and friends. We were in Lower Manhattan having a great time, took some pictures, drank tea with people I just met. So I had a great time in Manhattan this week. Today I have a new guest on my show, and she's going to tell us all about some of the things that she's been doing lately. She's an entrepreneur. She has her own business. She has an organization that she's running. She's been in a pageant. So we're going to share our time together today and drink some tea. So welcome to Tea Time with Lorna. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
So
great.
can you introduce yourself to my viewers today?
Absolutely. I'm Chaquanzha Stevenson,
Okay.
and I am the CEO and founder of DOPE Inc., which stands for Don't Oppress People, Educate. And it's a youth advocacy and empowerment group that travels domestically and internationally to deliver positive messages to the youth.
Okay, that sounds great. So tell me, how did this come about?
So I did a pageant back in 2016 for Miss Dreamcastle, and this was actually a picture of me on the scene with my talent. So I thought I was Beyonce a little bit. So I used to step in my younger days, and I stepped in heels. So I wanted to step with meaning, so I turned myself into a dope fairy. So the pageant was all about helping school children in Jamaica go back to school or
Okay.
go to school for the first time. So it's building scholarships. So it was my very first pageant. I didn't know if I would win, but I knew it was going towards a great cause. So I'm like, okay, let me go, let me try. And I stepped and I talked about dope. I did some scriptures. I did a few different things. So then I decided to turn the dope fairy into something bigger than me, which is a doll. And I just believe that representation matters. So young girls that don't believe that they could be a beauty queen or could be in pageants because they're of the darker shade and they don't typically see themselves or anyone that looks like them a part of that realm, I said, let me be the first to show them that. And I created the doll. So hopefully we can manufacture it. But for right now, it's just...
Well, it's beautiful. But before we get any further into our conversation, tell me what kind of tea you're drinking today. Because I am drinking an orange Piqua tea that I really, really love. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I really like it. What are you drinking today?
regular Lipton iced tea. Well, not iced tea, but tea. Because I'm not a big tea drinker, but I love tea and just regular tea.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me on Tea Time.
No
So,
problem.
this competition with this fabulous crown, I've got to tell you, it is fabulous crown. This is what you won in when? 2016?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what did you have to do in the competition? Tell me about that. Take me through that, because this crown is, I think it's probably worth it. I don't know what you had to do, but tell me what you had to do to get this crown.
Definitely worth it. So it's composed of 3 different things. One is the swimsuit. So
Okay.
everyone wears the same swimsuit, same color shoe. And it's just about making your presence known. So how you walk, how you smile, that kind of thing.
Okay.
The next is your talent, and my talent was stepping and delivering positive messages and scriptures. And then the last is your evening gown. So in my evening gown, I wore African traditional print.
Oh, okay.
And I wore this was literally how my hair was. So instead of typical pin curls or bone straight hair, I'm like, I want to do a hairstyle that kind of represents us. And so I wore the African print and I put my hair in a natural style.
Okay. So, where was this competition held?
It was in Yonkers, New York.
Okay. And, how many contestants were in it? Like, who did you beat? How many people did you beat?
There were a total of 9, including me, so
Okay.
it was fairly small that year. And there were 2 girls that were in pageants before and one that had won a pageant in New York.
Okay.
So that was major for me because I never did a pageant before. So I'm like, especially the girl that had won previously at a different, I don't know what the name of her pageant was called, but I was just a little nervous, but I ended up taking the title home, so.
Was there a financial benefit also to this pageant? Like, did you get some money? Were you able to do anything like that?
I did. I won $1,500.
Oh, wow.
That I put towards dope. I went to an all-inclusive trip to Jamaica for 7 days. I
Okay.
took my grandmother with me.
Oh.
And I got front row tickets to see Beyonce. I got massages. I got gift cards. I got so much stuff that came with it. But I guess the best part of it was going to Jamaica and seeing the kids. And I visited the schools where the scholarships are given. So that was like the ultimate part of the deal.
So, so part of the deal was that money from the competition went towards a scholarship.
Well, so the money that was raised, so whoever bought tickets, that money compromised whoever donated. So me being a part of the talent, when my family came and they brought tickets, that's what helped to support the kids back in Jamaica. Yeah.
So is this an annual competition?
It is.
Okay. Are you able to do it again, or once you win, you're out?
You can do it again. I don't think I'd do it again. It's just too much anxiety. But that last year was the 8th year. I was during the 7th year. So the 10th year, she wanted to do something where she brings all her winners back and have them compete.
Oh.
Yeah. So that should be very different.
So is that going to be this year?
No, so this year will be the 9th year, and then next year would be the 10th year.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea.
So maybe in the next year, I'll be back in the pageant world.
That sounds wonderful. So from that competition, you then made this doll.
Yes.
And you said you might be thinking about manufacturing it?
Yep.
Okay. Is this going to be a doll that girls can play with?
Absolutely. So the goal is to manufacture, it won't have my picture. It would simply be the doll with the wand, the shoes, obviously. The sign wouldn't be there. What would come with it is a book full of quotes and things for them to do. I'm big on affirmations. So speaking into the mirror and saying who you are or what you dream to be. So I am a leader. I am a business owner. I am whatever. So just speaking that positive, having positive conversations with the youth. So maybe a downloadable book, maybe a book that I can include within the packaging of the doll. I'm not sure yet, but just to make it different, because every girl gets a Barbie doll and they take the clothes off and they do whatever, but that's about it. So nothing really comes with an educational component or something to help them, feel like they're beautiful or speak their life into existence. So that's what the doll is supposed to do.
Okay. Have you been able to give this doll to anyone? Has any young little girls, have they received this doll yet?
Not yet. So this is the only one right now.
Okay.
I've had several people ask me for them for their daughters. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. So when I am able to manufacture, I just want to make sure that it's the best that it could be. So it's not like any other doll that they've taken off the shelf.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great idea, and I really commend you for doing this. Now, tell me, I know that you love to travel. So what is the travel that you did recently? Did you go to Zambia? Is that correct?
I was in Ghana.
Oh, Ghana. Okay. Mm-hmm. What were you doing in Ghana?
So in Ghana, so let's rewind. Okay. Early last year, so New Year's Day, actually, of 2017, I landed in the Ivory Coast where I was helping a friend. She was building a school there. But then after that, I took a short flight over to Ghana to mentor. And I studied in Ghana back in 2011. Okay. So I was doing independent research there, and I met a few people. And one of the guys that I met started a foundation called the Play and Learn Foundation. Okay. And that foundation focuses on football, which we call soccer here, and academics, so learning on and off the field. So we asked, can you come in? We do something called Mentoring Sundays and mentor our kids. And I just thought it was a perfect opportunity for me to stretch DOPE globally. So we took our DOPE global mission early 2017. So I did that, and then I went to Jamaica shortly after, and I went back to Ghana. And then at the end of last year, which was the 18th of December, I went back to Ghana, and I just came back. And it's just the same thing. So visiting the same kids and, being able to pour into them. So
the kids in Ghana, are they also benefiting from your DOPE Foundation?
Yes and no. So mainly they see me. I was able to bring a friend in May, and she has a nail polish company. So she talked about entrepreneurship. So just speaking that into them, because most people say, well, you go to school, you get a good job, you get good grades and that kind of thing. And it's just like, no, you don't have to go and work for someone. You can be your own boss. So she was able to take that back. And then just me, a person from the States, I'm technically foreign to them. So having me come over and showing them different ways and different things to do things and motivating them, I think that invests into them. So I say yes and no, because I'm not there consistently. So I've been there 3 times.
But that's still pretty amazing. Good for you. Good for you. So what do you like to do in your spare time? Tell me about that. Please enjoy your tea.
Spare time. Lorna, you keep asking me questions. I can't even take
Sorry.
time. And my spare time, I'm with friends. I'm with family. I'm not really doing much of anything. I don't watch TV. I don't really go out. So it's kind of hard to know or say what I do in my spare time. But it's really mainly work and just dope stuff. Trying to figure out how I can get my hands wet in the next community event or how I can be a mentor to another student, whatever the case may be.
Is dope something that you see yourself doing locally?
Well, yeah, I do it locally. So after winning the pageant, I wanted to know how I could pour my time back into young girls without running my own pageant. Okay. So what I started is something called She's Crowned, which is a 7-week transformational course. Okay. And it's for young girls, so they learn anything from self-love to higher education to financial education, sexual education. All those things are compiled within the 7 weeks. And then at the end of 7 weeks,
excuse me,
no problem, they are crowned. So we did our first pilot program at the Carver Center in Norwalk, Connecticut. Okay. And on December 4th, we crowned 12 girls at the Boys and Girls Club of Stamford. Okay. So we're looking to run the course again in March.
That sounds amazing. How are you coming up with these ideas? I mean, I already love that one. How are you coming up with these ideas? I like it. Can I be crowned? Go ahead.
Well, we're thinking about how we can transition it to not just the youth, but also
adults.
Yeah.
I would like a crown.
Absolutely, because we're all queens in our own right, and it doesn't matter what age. But I think of these ideas because I look at this generation, and it just drives me nuts. They're not this, and I'm 26, so I'm not that old. But when I was their age, I didn't have, the mobile phones that they have, and I wasn't surfing the web like they are. And I just feel like their days are comprised of how many likes they get, and that's their popularity. They don't go outside and play. They don't know how to work hard. They don't know how to do anything. So I figured if we could kind of invest our time and teach them what we once learned or what was once poured into us to kind of get their mind back to, maybe be the next Albert Einstein. That's what I'm big on. So in addition to She's Crowned, we want to run another course called King Me, which would be for young kings. It'd be a complete rendition of She's Crowned, but it would crown young kings. So basically showing our young people that they are kings and queens in their own right, and they don't have to be on the streets and selling drugs and wearing mini skirts and things to be recognized. So finding their way of standing out and helping them find their true purpose.
Did you find that any of the girls that went through the She's Crowned, the 7-week transition, did you find any changes in these girls? How did that work for them?
I definitely did. So the very first week, we always do self-love because I believe that beauty comes from both the outside, but most importantly, the inside. So if you don't love yourself, it's very hard for you to feel that you're beautiful. So when we did that, we have an exercise called Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. So what we do is we bring in full body length mirrors, and we have each girl walk up to the mirror and examine themselves to see what they see, whether good, bad, whatever. Okay. We have them write what they see on a Post-it note, and they flip it over, we collect it. Once we collect it, we tack them all to the wall. There's no names on these sticky notes. We read them aloud to see what these girls are thinking. This also helps us figure out where their confidence levels are and how deep we have to dive within the course. Okay. So sometimes we'll read it and it says, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, my acne's bad, my teeth aren't straight. It's like really good things and then really bad things. So then what we do is we take the really bad things and we eradicate them, and we focus on those good things. So that's when we toot our own horn, which is like a verbal resume, and we say all the positive things about that person, and we help them say it about themselves. So when we put them in the middle of the room and we ask them to talk about themselves, they get stuck. Like they can't say anything good about themselves. So from that, we learn what we really need to focus on to give these girls the confidence. By the end, we end with obviously the crowning ceremony, but the week before that, we have something called a vision board, and we have them put all their thoughts and dreams on it. And when we have them present, they're completely different from when they first started. So they're very outspoken. They can tell you how good they are and what they want to do. And that's how we know that within the 7 weeks, there was a transition.
And how old are the girls in this program?
They're in high school.
Oh, wow.
So I prefer to work with the high school age because I can literally just go in and I don't really have to have a filter. Anything younger, which younger girls do need it, but I just don't have the bandwidth to run, so many courses. But anything younger, kind of have to censor it just in case. So when we talk about sexual education and STDs and sex, I don't want, a fifth grader to say, hey, I was in this and she was telling me about sex and I don't know about sex, and then I have to deal with parents. But in high school, they're privy to so much, and they more than likely already heard about it or they're already doing it. And we never ask the girls if they're doing it. We just point them in the right direction to get tested and, check themselves and all that good stuff. So it's just easier to deliver all the contents of the curriculum that we need to go through.
So do you have a team that's working with you? I don't know, like psychologists, psychiatrists. Do you have a team that's working with you? Like, you can't be doing this alone. This is amazing.
Honestly, I have one other person. She's my co-teacher. She's getting her MSW right now at Fordham University, but that's the only person on my team. Everything I do on my own.
How are you able to afford this? This sounds so amazing. Are you getting funding? Do you need funding?
Definitely need funding. I'll never say no to funding.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was all personal. So I put a lot of things on credit cards. I just needed to make sure I could invest in myself before I asked for others to. So I didn't know exactly what direction I was going with this. So a lot of it was playing around and figuring things out. So I wanted to put my money into it so that I could figure things out. And I feel like if you're not willing to put your money into it, then you're not serious anyway. So I said, before I'll ask other people to invest in me, I need to invest in myself. So even with some trips, I put flights on credit cards and, paid them off over time. Or I put some, like the first She's Crowned session, that mainly came from me. This time around, I did get funding to run it at the Boys and Girls Club, which was a burden off my back. But most times it's just finding funding or putting in personal funding.
Okay, I'm so impressed.
Oh, thanks.
I'm so impressed. So do you have children?
No.
Okay.
I do not have time for kids right now. I also don't have a ring on this lovely finger, so I'm waiting for that.
How do you think this will change you, if it does, were you to have a daughter of your own?
It would change me drastically because I feel like there's no love like a mother's love, and I'm not yet a mother. So my mom always tells me, no matter how old you get, I'm always going to be your mom, and you're always going to be my baby girl. And I'm always like, I get it, but I'm an adult. So I can't really understand where she's coming from because I don't have any kids. So I feel like once I have a kid, I might be a better mentor to some of the girls out there because I'll be willing to protect my daughter from anything. But right now, since I haven't been in these girls' lives for so long, I pour everything that I know into them, but I might be more passionate about it just because I know what it is to be investing time into someone's child.
So after the 7 weeks, are they set free? Can they contact you again? What happens after the 7 weeks?
They have full access to both me and my co-teacher, Woodleen. So we give them our cell phone numbers, our personal numbers. After they're crowned, we allow them to come onto our social media because we don't want them to see anything before that. But after the 7 weeks, we also have a retreat.
Okay.
So we crown the girls December 4th. A month later, we have the retreat. So February 10th is when our retreat will be.
Okay.
And it's an overnight retreat where we just kind of bond and we do certain things. And I think it's the most important part of the course because what we do, all in all, is build a sisterhood.
Okay.
So we want the girls to be, if they don't feel comfortable coming to us, even though we call ourselves their big sister, we're still adults to them. So there's certain things that they refrain from. But if they have that sisterhood that they can go to, their tribe of girls that they can confide in, I think that's the best part about it. So usually with the overnight retreat, they bond in other ways that they don't normally do during the class because the class is only 1 day per week and it's 90 minutes to 2 hours. So they, some of them go to school together, some of them don't, so they don't really know each other. But that one night that they have overnight, they're kind of like spilling everything. And we've had girls come out about their sexuality and, all those different things. So I think the retreat is the best part of the course.
And how can someone get involved with your organization? I guess this is a two-part question. If someone wanted to get involved to help sponsor or fund you, how could they do that? And I guess the second part of the question is, how are you able to get the young girls? Where are you finding the girls to be part of your program? Because this is really amazing. Go ahead.
Those are awesome questions. So I'll answer your first question. We have a website. So that's always available for people to go and submit their information if they want to do any type of volunteerism, donations, whatever. My personal cell is up there. Well, it's not up there, but once you email, I'll be able to give that to you. Okay. And then as far as the funding, well, not the funding for the girls, but how do I get the girls? I don't have a facility, and I purposely don't have a facility. So DOPE travels domestically and internationally. So we pack cars up, I pack suitcases up and take things overseas. It's just better. So what I do is I find community centers, I find churches, I find whatever might need it, I propose it to them, or someone refers me, and then I use the girls that are already there.
Okay.
So we have an orientation session, and girls typically come in and they say if they want to join or not, and if they do, they come the first week, and if not.
So would you suggest that young girls do pageants? What do you think?
It's
I
not
don't
for
mean the
everyone.
babies, I'm just.
It's not for everyone. It's an experience. So I would say if they've ever thought about it, do it. I've done it once. I can't say that I do it again. But with anything, if there's anything that you want to do in life, you only have one life to live. So go ahead and do it.
Okay. I think that's a great piece of advice to give for young girls. I really think that that's wonderful. I really appreciate you coming on the show. That's so good. I'm loving this whole DOPE thing. Tell me again, what does DOPE stand for?
DOPE stands for Don't Oppress People, Educate.
Okay. And part of your stuff is educating these young girls on how to have a positive mindset. I love it. I love it. All right, change of question.
Okay.
Are you reading anything right now?
You know what? I am not. I'm actually writing something right now.
Okay. What are you writing?
So me and 3 of my friends are actually writing a book.
Okay.
And basically we're trying to write what we don't have, or write what's not out yet. So they always say if there's a book that you want to read that hasn't been written, you have to write it.
Okay.
So typically I like to read books on personal development.
Okay.
Books that literally motivate me to take the next step, to take that leap of faith.
Okay.
And usually when I read those books, the people in them have already taken that leap of faith and they are making a lot of money.
Okay.
So right now I've taken that leap of faith, but I'm not yet making that amount of money. So just writing, the transition that I'm going through and helping myself and helping keep myself accountable, but also my girlfriends accountable to make sure we get to the next step so that we can see that large money or whatever we dream to have in our bank account, or a home or a car, whatever the case may be. So we're definitely writing a book. Can't say when it's going to be released just yet.
Okay.
But it's just to help people in that transition, because a lot of people start things, but then they give up. So they give up because they don't have that end in mind. So they're just like, oh my God, I'm in the trenches and I'm getting this door closed, but they don't realize that the door's closing is, for the greater good, for that one door to open. So we're just helping us or ourselves stay focused, but then others stay focused.
Amen. So what do you see DOPE is such a great organization, obviously, and thank you for sharing. Where do you see yourself this year? Like, what are your goals for 2018? What do you think you want to be doing? I'll tell you mine. For myself, obviously I'm doing this TV show, which I'm really loving, and I have some plans to do some documentaries and stuff like that. So I'm in the process of doing those. But where do you see yourself this year, 2018?
This year. First, I see myself being an author. That's like one of the biggest things I'm checking off this year. But second, my birthday's August 7th, and I have this dream of building in Ghana. So as I told you, I studied, back in 2011, I studied in Ghana, and that was life-changing for me. It was life-changing because it humbled me, and it showed me how fortunate we are here in the States. So with that experience, it changed my whole mindset. And with me doing research there, I had to learn how to use my brain in a different way. So I studied law, political science and justice studies at the University of New Hampshire. And I went to Ghana to do a comparative legal analysis. So in New Hampshire, I was able to have LexisNexis. I was able to have all these things on hand. In Ghana, their oldest law book was from 1991, and I couldn't check it out. So I had to take pictures with my cell phone. I had to write a lot of things out. There was no photocopy machine. I just had to use my brain in a different way. I also had to travel 45 minutes outside of where I was staying to get to that place. So just learning the language, learning how to take, public transportation, all those things were just different for me. But it was very eye-opening. So I said, wouldn't it be awesome if I could take kids from here and bring them overseas so that they can, 1, do mission work over there, they can, 2, meet kids over there, but more than likely change their mindset. Because kids over there, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothes, they barely have money to go to school, if that. And then there's kids here that complain about their shoes and their clothes and the things that they don't have, even though they have a lot. And they also complain about their free education, or they skip school, when there's kids over there that are dying to go. So I'm like, if I bring kids from here, there and show them, the disparities and the differences between what life is like, it might change them like it changed me. Not to say that I wasn't, appreciative of the things that I do have, but I think a lot of, again, in this generation, they just don't appreciate things for what it is. So my biggest goal is to buy the piece of land on my birthday that I'll need to start building the Dope Resource Center.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yes.
So Dope will be in Ghana.
Yes.
And are we going to have a Dope Center in Connecticut somewhere? Is that on the horizon?
Oh, boy.
And then a Dope in Jamaica, since obviously you went to Jamaica and you helped out the young girls there. What is that in the horizon?
Yes. Ghana I'm starting with because that's where my heart is. That's where I was in 2011. That's what changed me. But eventually, over time, I do plan to open multiple centers around the world. Maybe here in the States, but I think here in the States I benefit more from just traveling to these places. Overseas, it's a bit different because I can't necessarily get there all the time, but domestic travel is much easier. So.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. You have done some amazing things. Now, where else have you traveled? You've done Ghana, obviously Jamaica. Where else have you traveled recently? I know you and I met, obviously, in Arizona originally, and Sedona.
Yeah.
So where else have you traveled recently?
Oh, my goodness. The Ivory Coast. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Thailand. Been to Bahamas.
What took you to the Ivory Coast? Was that also dope, or was that something?
No, so that was helping a friend. She was building a school there, or she is building a school there. Okay. So I did like a 2-in-1. So I flew to the Ivory Coast, and then from the Ivory Coast, I went to Ghana, did some work in Ghana, flew back to the Ivory Coast, and then flew home.
Okay. So what took you to Dubai?
Dubai was more of a vacation. It was my 25th birthday, and I'm like, Dubai is the place to go. Okay. So, yeah, that was a trip to remember. I'll definitely go back to Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on my list of places to go. Did you manage to get to those islands? You know, the islands that look like palm trees and stuff? The Palm Islands, I think.
I didn't really visit the Palm.
Excuse me.
I did go to Abu Dhabi so I can visit the Grand Mosque, and that was an amazing experience in the desert, obviously. But I didn't really get a chance to go to the islands.
Now, what about skydiving? No. I know that's pretty big out there.
We thought about it, but we didn't actually do it. It might be a regret, but I'm going back, so maybe the second time around, I'll do it.
When are you going back?
I don't know yet. So they're building something in Abu Dhabi that I really want to see, but it's not going to be ready until like the early 2020.
What are they building?
It's like another island. It's like, I can't even really explain it, but I don't want to waste the trip, so I want to wait until that's done, and when that's done, I'll make my way back.
Yeah, there's a little part of me that would like to skydive because we have that mutual friend James that skydived in Dubai a couple of years ago, and I think a couple of others that we know have also skydived.
The pictures are amazing.
They are amazing, and also I'd love to go on the boats, the huge white parties, those yacht white parties that they have out there. Those look really good.
That'd be my second time around.
Okay. Yeah, because that's on my list. Anywhere else you want to go to that you haven't been to yet?
Bali's on the list this year.
Okay.
Just for the tranquility. I feel like Bali is going to be a lot like Thailand.
Okay.
But I'm not sure because I haven't been. So I think that's one of the places I'll go. Probably Bali and London. What
took you to... where did you say? What island did you mention? Not Bali.
Thailand?
Yes. What took you to Thailand?
A friend. She's more like a sister now, but I used to work with her, and it was like an impromptu. I literally booked my flight 3 weeks before. So she's like, do you want to go? And I'm like, I just got back from Dubai. Like, I don't know if I can do it. And then some things happened with works, and I stopped working, and I went, and it was literally the trip that changed my life. Because after I got back from... I went to Dubai, then I went to Thailand, and then I went to Africa.
Okay.
So I was just a traveling machine.
Yes, you were. With all those wonderful pictures that I kept seeing on Facebook and wondering why I wasn't invited.
Uh-oh.
I'm joking. It's okay. Well, I'm so glad you took time out of your immensely busy schedule to come and talk to me about your beautiful crown, winning that competition, your gorgeous doll, which I can't wait to hear about when you get this manufactured.
And if you
gotta let
have
me
any
know.
manufacturing companies, because the one I was dealing with was asking for an astronomical price. So,
Well, I don't know right now, but you never know what the future holds.
absolutely.
So I really do appreciate you coming and sharing all your dope information with us.
You're
'Cause
very
it was really
welcome.
good.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you
And
so much.
thanks for having me.
So thanks for watching Tea Time with Lorna. And my wonderful guest and her amazing crown, her amazing story, the dolls, and drinking tea with me. I really do appreciate. So we will see you again on Tea Time with Lorna next week, where I will have another amazing guest, probably an author with a book that he's about to get published. Thanks for tuning in.